Hi everyone, in this video we will learn how to solve the questions of quadratic equation. Although they didn't ask a single question from quadratic equation in RBI Grade B 2024 prelims examination, but we can't ignore the importance of quadratic equation chapter when we prepare for competitive examinations like RBI Grade B, right? So look at the question. The question says, consider the below two quadratic equations. Ax square minus 23x plus 12 equal to 0 is the first quadratic equation, right? And the second quadratic equation is bx square minus 9x plus 9 equal to 0. And it has been given that a and b are positive integers. A is greater than b. The higher root of the second equation is the multiple of b and another root. The ratio of the highest roots of the equation 1 to 2 is 4:3. If you look at the previous year question papers of RBI Grade B of 2023, 2022, 2021, you will see this kind of questions, right? So how can we solve this kind of questions, right? So whatever is given in the question, we will try to use those given data to solve the questions. So if you read the question, look at the last line. The ratio of the highest roots of the equation 1 to 2 is 4:3. Means the ratio of the highest root of equation 1 and the ratio to the highest root of equation 2 is 4:3. So can we say that highest root of the equation 1 is 4k and the highest root of equation 2 is 3k. Why? Because in the question it has been given that the ratio is 4k ratio 3k, right? Now if you look at the second last line of the question says the higher root of the second equation is the multiple of b and another root, right? What does it mean? See, this is the higher root, right? This is the 3k is the highest root of equation 2 and 4k is the highest root of equation 1, right? And it has been given that higher root of the second equation means higher root of this equation, that is 3k. We have assumed that this is 3k is the multiple of b, is the multiple of b. See, this is b, this is the multiple of b and another root. So can we assume that the another root of quadratic equation 2 is alpha? Yeah, we can assume. Means you can say that highest root of equation 2 is 3k and we are assuming that another root of equation 2 is 3k and alpha. Means 3k is the highest root and alpha is the another root of equation 2. So basically we can say 3k equal to b into alpha. So 3k equal to b into alpha. See, alpha is the another root of equation 2. Alpha is the another root of equation 2 and 3k is the higher root of equation 2. So basically we are able to write 3k equal to b into alpha. Now try to recall the concept of multiplication of roots. If you know that 3k and alpha are the roots of equation 2, can you say that 3k into alpha is equal to 9 by b? 3k into alpha is equal to 9 by b. Try to recall that formula of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where the product of roots is equal to c by a. So in this question, the product of roots 3k into alpha, 3k is one root, alpha is another root, right? We can say 9 by b, right? Now 3k equal to b into alpha. Can we put the value of 3k in this equation? Yeah, we can put that value, right? So basically we can say that 3k into alpha equal to 9 by b. So we can say that 3k equal to b into alpha. So we have put b into alpha equal to 9 by b. So now we can do cross multiplication. If you do cross multiplication, So basically you will write b square alpha square equal to 9. B square alpha square equal to 9, right? So can we take the square root of both sides? Yeah, we can take the square root of both sides. And if you take the square root of both sides, we are getting the value of b alpha equal to b into alpha equal to 3. So many of you will think that why we can't say b into alpha is equal to minus 3. Why we can't say that thing? Remember this line. B are positive integers. If B is a positive integer, if it is given that A and B are positive integers, what does it mean? It means that B is a positive integer. If B is a positive integer, look at quadratic equation 2. What is the sum of the roots? Sum of the roots is minus of minus 9 by B. So sum of the roots is 9 by B. What is the product of root? Product of root is 9 by B. Product of root is 9 by B. And we know that b is a positive integer. If we know that b is a positive integer, what does it mean? It means that 9 by b is a positive integer, right? It means that 9 by b is a positive, 9 by b is a positive, 9 by b is positive, and again 9 by b is positive. So this is the product of roots and this is the sum of roots. And we know that b is a positive integer, means both of these values are positive. Now try to recall that learning that if the sum of the roots of a quadratic equation is positive and if the product of the roots of that quadratic equation is positive, what does it mean? It means that both roots of that quadratic equation are positive. If the sum and product of the roots of a quadratic equation are positive, it means that both roots are positive. Now try to remember, we have got the value of b into alpha equal to, okay, you are saying that we can write b into alpha equal to plus minus 3, but now see, 3k is a root. 3k is a root of, 3k is a root of quadratic equation 2. And we know that quadratic equation 2 has only positive roots. If quadratic equation 2 has only positive roots, why only positive roots? Because sum is positive and product is also positive, means 3k is also a positive, 3k is also positive. And if 3k is positive, means b into alpha is also positive. And if b into alpha is positive, means you will have to ignore, you will have to eliminate b into alpha equal to minus 3. So basically b into alpha equal to 3. And if b into alpha equal to 3, now you should be able to think that 3k equal to b into alpha and b into alpha equal to 3. So basically 3k equal to 3. Now you should be able to think that 3k equal to 3 means 3k is already a root of equation 2. Means equation 2 has, equation 2 has a positive root. Equation 2 has a root that is 3. Equation 2 has a root that is 3, right? Why? 3k equal to 3. We know that b into alpha equal to 3, 3k equal to b into alpha. We already know that 3k is a root of quadratic equation 2. Means simple, means that 3 is a root, 3 is a root of equation 2. So can we put the value of x equal to 3 in equation 2? Yeah, we can put. If we know that 3 is a root of equation 2, means we can put the value of x equal to 3 in quadratic equation 2, right? If it has a root of 3, means 3 will satisfy. So bx square minus 9x plus 9 equal to 0. So b into 3 square minus 9 into 3 plus 9 equal to 0. So basically 9b minus 27 plus 9 equal to 0. So can we call it 9b minus 18 equal to 0. So 9b equal to 18. So b equal to 18 divided by 9. So the value of b is 2. The value of b is 2. Okay. Now look at the question. See, whenever you get this kind of questions, you will get 3 to 4 questions in a single set of questions. So if you read the questions, you have to find what are the values of a and b respectively. What are the values of a and b respectively? So you have found the value of b equal to 2. Okay, you will say me that we should find the value of a, then we should look at the options. No, if you have got the value of b equal to 2, let us look at the options. Okay, option A says that the value of b is 3. So we should eliminate option A. Option B says that the value of b is 5 and the value of a is 2. So we should eliminate option B. And now if you look at option C, although you haven't found the value of A, but option C says that the value of B is 2 and we have found that the value of B is 2. Okay, we can't mark option C without looking at other options, right? So obviously if you look at option D says that the value of B is equal to 6. So you will have to eliminate option D. Now if you look at option E, the value of B says option 5. So basically there is only one option. Which says that the value of B is equal to 2. So we can easily mark option C without finding the value of A. So sometimes if you solve at least 60 to 70% of the questions, you will be able to answer the question correctly without solving it completely. Okay, we have found that the value of B is equal to 2 and we are able to choose option C. But okay, how we can find the value of A? So let us solve it further. We know few things about that. We have assumed that 3k and 4k are the higher roots, right? We have assumed 3k and alpha. We also know that the value of 3k was equal to 3. So the roots of equation 2 is 3 and alpha, right? And we also know that the value of b is equal to 2, right? If 3k is equal to 3, means k equal to 1. Okay, we know that the higher root of the equation 1 is 4k. So basically 4k, right? So 4 into 1, so equal to 4, means 4 is one of the roots of equation 1. 4 is one of the roots of equation 1, right? So again we can put the value of x equal to 4. We can put the value of x equal to 4 in equation 1. So basically a into 4 square minus 23 into 4 plus 12 equal to 0. So 16a minus 92 plus 12 equal to 0. So 16a minus 80 equal to 0. So basically 16a equal to 80. So a equal to 80 divided by 16. So the value of a equal to 5. And we have already found that the value of b equal to 2. And now we have found that the value of a equal to 5. So suppose if you don't get this kind of options, how will you find the value of a? See, we found the value of a, right? So how did we solve this question? I will explain all of these things again. In the last line it was given that the ratio of the highest roots of the equation 1 to 2 is 4:3. So we assumed that 4k is higher root of equation 1 and 3k is the higher root of equation 2. Then we read this line. The higher root of the second equation is the multiple of b and another root. So we wrote simply that 3k equal to b into alpha. So we wrote this equation, right? After that we recall that what is the product of roots in equation 2. So we wrote 3k into alpha, that is equal to 9 by b. And we solved these two equations, and after simplifying we found that 3k equal to 3, right? Okay, now we can solve question number 2. Okay, question number 2 says find the roots of the second equation. This is our second equation. And we know that 3 is one of the roots. Try to recall 3k comma alpha. 3k and alpha are the roots of equation 2, and we know that 3k equal to 3 means 3 is one of the roots of equation 2, right? If you look at the option A doesn't say that 3 is the root. 3 is the root of equation 2. So you should be able to eliminate option A. Option B also does not say that 3 is one of the roots of the second equation. So you should be able to eliminate option B. And option C also does not say that 3 is one of the roots of the equation 2. So you should be able to eliminate option C. Now if you look at option D and E, yeah, options D and E convey that 3 is one of the roots of the equation 2. But we haven't found the another root of quadratic equation 2. But try to recall from question number 1 that we have found that the value of b equal to 2 and the value of a equal to 5. So if the value of b equal to 2, we can write 2x square. We can write equation 2 in this way: 2x square minus 9x plus 9. So can we say that what is the product of roots? The product of roots is 9 by 2. Ax square plus bx plus c by a will be the product of roots, and that is 9 by 2. We also know that 3k and alpha are the roots of equation 2, but we know that the value of 3k is 3. So 3 and alpha are the roots of equation 2. So can we write 3 into alpha equal to 9 by 2? Yeah, we can write 3 is one of the roots, alpha is another root of equation 2. So we can say alpha equal to 9 by 2 into 3. So 3 into 3, that is equal to 3 by 2. So the value of alpha is equal to 3 by 2, means 3 and 3 by 2 are the roots of the second equation. See, usually I have seen that a good number of aspirants usually give up at this question. But if you solve difficult questions, then only you will learn a lot. Then only, trust me, if RBI Grade B asks difficult questions, and if you have appeared in the shift 12 of RBI Grade B prelims 2024, there are good chances that you have suffered in quant section, right? But don't worry, you have enough time. If you keep solving difficult or RBI Grade B level questions, trust me, you will be able to improve, right? So 3 and 3 by 2 are the roots of the second equation. So option D is the correct answer. Now if you look at question number 3 says that find the roots of the first equation. If you can recall, this was 3k. 3k is one of the roots of equation 2 and 4k is one of the roots of equation 1. And we also know that 3k is equal to 3, so 4k is equal to 4. What does it mean? It means that 4 is one of the roots of equation 1. And if 4 is one of the roots of equation 1, you should be able to eliminate option A, B, D and D. Why did I eliminate option A, B, D and D? The reason is simple, that if 4 is one of the roots of the equation 1, none of the options among A, B and D, A, B, D and E convey that 4 is one of the roots of the first equation. Only option C has given 4 as it's one of the roots. But suppose if you don't get this kind of options where you are able to eliminate options A, B, D and E, how will you solve this kind of questions? Simply, if 4 is one of the roots, and if you can recall, we have already found the value of A, that is equal to 5, right? So basically you can write equation 1 as 5x square minus 23x plus 12 equal to 0, right? And we know that 4 is one of the roots. 4 is one of the roots, and we have to find another root. So let us assume that another root is another root. We haven't given it some name. So product of roots will be equal to what? Product of roots will be equal to 12 by 5 C upon A, right? 12 by 5. So 4 into another root. So another root is equal to 12 divided by 5 into 4. So 4 into 3, so 3 by 5. Means 3 by 5 is another root of quadratic equation 1. So basically you can say that 4 and 3 by 5 are the roots of the first quadratic equation, right? So 4 and 3 by 5. So if you really want to solve RBI Grade B level questions, and yeah, I know that if your basics are not very good, if you haven't solved this kind of questions earlier, you will have to put efforts to solve this kind of questions. But if you join any one of our batches for RBI Grade B 2025, trust me, initially we will solve the questions of basic level, right? Because we have enough time. Then we will solve the questions of intermediate level, and then obviously we will solve the questions of RBI Grade B level. And yeah, if you join any one of our batches, you will definitely be able to score. See, we have enough time, so we can plan for 12 to 15 marks from quant section, even if you are not good at quant, right? or if you are good at quant, obviously you should definitely target 15 plus marks from the quant section, right? So hopefully all of you learned something new in today's lecture. Yeah, this question is lengthy, and hopefully you are able to learn that how can we approach this kind of questions. I will suggest you that all of you should try these questions again after some days, or maybe you should try this question by yourself. Then only you will realize that what kind of concepts we really need to know to solve this kind of questions.